During league, you guys played three division teams: Maricosta, Redondo, PV. How do you think those games helped prepare the Panthers for the playoffs?
I think that anytime that you can play top competition, it's going to prepare you. Big believer in iron sharpens iron. Proverbs 27:17. I know it so well because I have it tattooed across my chest. Um, you know, knowing that the competition that's around this area in the South Bay, if you're able to handle that, and again, win, loss. We lost both. The Costa Series. We split Redondo. We swept PV. Um, you know, there is so much you can take out of that. Good if you allow yourself and take that perspective. It's easy in hindsight to go, well, wow, well, you know, you lost against Costa, so like that's. But I look at Costa and go, they got 36 guys on the roster, multiple D1 prospects. They got pitching out to wazoo. Redondo's got two MLB like you take those things and you go, if you're able to handle that and that doesn't scare you and you're able to, kind of toe the line and have your chest out and let's go, it doesn't matter who else is in your way. I mean, they could have had us going into D1, D1 playoffs. Let's go. I think that's the beautiful thing about being in the position that we were, underdogs. It's funny now to hear, I hear people that have reached back out to me after the season and been like, oh, well, the Penn always had the talent. They always had the ability. And it's funny to me because it's like, well, nobody was saying that before the job. Nobody was saying that, when I took over, and like, it was the state of the program was down. What everybody else had, we didn't have that same thing. So um, we were the underdog. And I love being in that position. There's only one way to go. So I think that playing those guys and having the results that we did, again, for better or worse, win or loss, just knowing that we can face whatever and we can absolutely take a ball game. I mean, beating Cole Stokes. I mean, I looked at his numbers from the previous year. He had 14, 16 Ks against us. He had 7. He also made a little clip of striking all of us out for his, Twitter page, which was funny. All the boys were like, man, like I just made Cole Stokes is real. Like, and me and Stokes, because he's been in here working out, and we had a chuckle about that. And, great kid. I mean, man, that's a kid that you talk about. Like, you go to a guy who's looked at it going to, first 3 rounds of a draft, and you just go up to him and you look up and his thighs almost feel like they're as big as, up to, you're like, good God, like, okay, like one day I'm going to be talking about that, we were on the field with you and, look at you where you are now. Like, I think that's the beautiful thing about the South Bay is there's such elite talent here, and to be able to step on the field with that and to play against it, but to have relationships with these boys. Most of the teams that we played, I had relationships with just about a few of the boys. Like, being able to go over there and talk to them and just, hey, like, let's go tonight. Your best, our best. Let's just, and then afterward, win or loss, a hug. I can't tell you, those were the things that I was most excited about playing the South Bay, is that I know these boys and I just wanted to be able to, be on the field with them, share the field. I think that, you know, everybody kind of knows each other. It's a small baseball world, especially in the South Bay. And as you kind of, you live in this profession. Um, and I think that just really prepared us for what we're going to face. I mean, when we saw the, hey, we're playing in D5. Okay, like, we've played D1, we played D2, we played D3. We played up pretty much all year. Like, a couple teams that were fell below that line, but not much. So, this isn't going to be a matter of can we? We absolutely can. Are you here and are you here? You got that? We'll be okay. The first game against Milken, I felt like we white knuckled a bit. I felt like first playoff game. Parents are obviously excited. You felt it in the kind of dugout, like, And once we got past that, I was fine. I know Damian Calhoun, when we had an interview at the end of winning the CIF, he kind of asked a similar question, as to how do you feel like you were ready for this, and how did you feel with playing close games, and you know, um, there's some close games that you play and you feel, oh, like this game is close. Like this could just be one hit away. And there's other close games that you feel where it might be 3-0, but it doesn't feel that way. It feels like it's 10-0 because you feel like you have control. You don't feel like anything's, and I never felt like we were out of control. I never felt like, well, once we took a lead, once we were, because most of the games we were only won by like 2 runs, 3 runs. I felt like we were up by 7, 10. Like I felt complete control of the way that we were here mentally. The physical. Again, we're not gonna out hit like Apple Valley. I looked in that final. I go, these boys have been slaughtering everybody. Like it's gonna be a test. These boys are all 6 foot, 200 pounds, and you're sitting there going like, all right, we have one guy that's at 185. So again, I think it just goes all back to the concept of, that foundation, culture, believing in each other, having heart, just being ready for the moment. That was my biggest message to them when we were at that game. All those people in the stands, that shouldn't be nerves. That's not pressure. That's everybody that loves you and believes in you. That's belief. Coming to a semifinal game and the way that we traveled, 2 hours away to Shadow Hills underneath 105 degrees, like definitely not the weather that we play in, but they're here. Why? They believe in you. It's not pressure. Pressure is when you're sitting there and you got a whole bunch of people you don't have that. You got love. You got people that are there to just watch you do your thing because they've watched you since yay high. And that was the biggest thing that, my message to them. And when we kind of made our stretch was just believe, because I do. I believed it since the first day I took the job. So now just do it. Believe in each other, finish it, and they did.